I'm trying to. It won't let me upload these graphics. I don't know why. Oh well. So slides,
Well, then
whatever.
we're in bad shape here.
No,
I
no.
rely on you for that stuff.
I know. I don't know why it's not letting me upload, but I can still pull it up. Well, we'll just pull it up this way. But
damn, look at that.
Yeah.
How long did that take you to do? Just this image.
Just the image. I mean, it took me like 30 minutes to find all the logos. It took me another 30 minutes to kind of like, basically remove the background if they weren't EPS files. And then probably took me another hour to place and then, just put it in order or whatever. But I don't know. It works.
Yeah, I love it. Just this image alone, get a huge morning, Sarah. Get a huge like breadth of information. Some of these are old like the West Coast Classic. Like you haven't seen that logo in a couple of years.
Yeah.
Crash Crucible is the retours from last year. Haven't seen the iteration for this fall yet. Got some new ones on there. Some Arabic down there in the middle. And a lot of cool competitions that we're going to be working with this year.
Yeah, we have to get on JR about making the new logos. That's the only one. Well, that in Madrid, the Madrid competitions, everything else was pretty much updated. But finding Belgrade and the Siberian ones, I was like, oh yeah, I got those. Oh yeah, those are like the ones.
Those are some new locations. Pretty excited about some of the places we'll be able to go and stories we'll be able to tell this year for sure.
Yeah.
And then of course some that will be very recognizable on here as well.
Did you know that Tier has a new logo?
Tier has a new logo?
Wodapalooza.
Tier Wodapalooza. Is it up here?
Yeah, it's the very top.
Oh yeah, right there in the middle.
So there's one that says Tier Wodapalooza, and underneath it, you can't really say it says Miami or SoCal, but there's one that says Tier and it says Waza underneath it. So I couldn't find that one, but it's on their Instagram, but they haven't really put it out there. But I guess that's just the branding for Wodapalooza now. But I think each specific one will have this new a unique logo. But I think
we got the new CrossFit Games logo there in the top right.
Yeah, that was an easy one.
I would say on paper here, next to all the other ones, it's not jumping off the page at me.
Really not. A lot of mountains. You notice there's a lot of mountains.
I mean, Rocky Mountain,
Norwegian. Was it there's another one.
Canada Throat got a landscape. Oh, Canada Throat on a little cutoff at the top. They got a mountain in there as well.
Yeah.
Hey, if you got mountains nearby, why not?
Guess so. Good. So, good morning, Carl. God, speaking of Carl,
so I've been obviously I've been home for a few days now. Got a 5 or 6 more days before we hit the road again, which we will talk about. But able to get in training much more consistently. But man, like I've been doing some movements that I'm expecting to see some variety in the open of them, and just doing some more dynamic gymnastics, high volume rep stuff. And I have been sore, but of course, got the Relief stick. Use it every night after training, helping out a ton. HCR CBD is going to be a key partner of ours this year. They have been since a couple months now already, sponsoring these shows. So if you haven't checked them out yet, go and check them out. I think that as a place to start, that Relief stick is as good as any. If you like the more topical, like you can use your fingers and massage it into your muscles, they have that like a balmy version of it as well. Both are great and great starting points if you're looking for this stuff. They got CBD gummies, which are very good, easy to use, obviously, if you're into that kind of thing. No THC at all in any of their products. High quality stuff through and through. If you like to have like drinks in the morning, some kind of healthy drink, or in the evening, they have a greens that has no bad stuff in it. Actually talk to Carl all the time, and he gets frustrated with the ingredients and other people's stuff, but I can assure you don't have to be worried about that if you're using their stuff.
Yeah. And of course, I owe Carl this. I've been meaning to take pictures of it, but they offer a lot of what do you want to call it? I mean, a lot of product for dogs, for pets, that they help my pets out with anxiety. So I'm working on that, Carl. I'm efforting that in terms of getting someone to take some pictures. That way you have some of those. But I greatly appreciate that. And They seem to like it. I mean, they have a chicken flavored thing. I don't know. I haven't tasted them yet.
Please
So
don't taste this.
oh, and speaking of the Relief Stick, obviously I just started week 3 of Kill Fat Pat. So yeah. So max back squat yesterday, followed by a 2-mile run. So went pretty fast,
So that was a 500-pound back squat and a couple of 5-minute miles.
Yeah. Yep. Me and yep, that's who I am. That's what I do now. It's like it's me and
Clink.
Yeah. Yep. Yep. But so last night on my quads, the Relief Stick was on those quads last night, as well as a gun. I had one of those percussion guns to it. So but I'm out. What is happening? Oh, the most important interview is happening tomorrow. Can't wait to hear it. Oh, is that the one where you're interviewing me?
No, I actually didn't even know that you had announced it or made it public or whatever. And then someone sent me a message, a very nice message that said that they were looking forward to that one. So if you haven't seen yet, Mallory O'Brien will be coming on with us tomorrow. They reached out last week, and I'm actually super excited just to talk to her. I don't think I've really had much of a conversation with her other than kind of just, hey, how's it going? Great work out there type of a thing at competitions, which happens with a lot of athletes. I try not to bother them too much during the competitions if I don't need to. I don't think I've ever hung out with her outside of a competition in any capacity. So it would be fun to get to know her. And, she doesn't speak publicly very often. So, I think it will be very nice to hear from her.
Yeah, I'm hoping that we get to see the Mal that I kind of know.
You actually know her, much better than I do, and for a lot longer period of time.
Yeah. So hopefully that part. I mean, I've in research for this, she obviously started her own YouTube channel, the MOB. I've watched old episodes, and one she just recently did on Miami. By the way, you should probably go if you haven't. Her video's 7 minutes long, and it's pretty cool. You see a side of her. She looks like she's having fun, and we'll talk about that tomorrow. So
was that your cue to us that this show is over now because it's been 7 minutes?
Yep, show's done. We're done. That's it. No. It's just that personality. I mean, she's a teenager. She still is a teenager, and it's going to be great to hear her tell her story. Like I said, me and Brian we have our own. We're not really coming into it really prepared. Well, not unprepared, but not like we have prepared statements or anything. We're just giving her a platform to just talk, and it's going to be again,
get to know her and let
get
other
to
people
know her, have some conversation, and just see what's up. And that's all we ever do. If anything, if you watch any of our friendly conversations, that's what we try to do. It's like we don't really come in with like prepared comments unless it's obviously we get to those questions, but at the end of the day, we just want to get to know these athletes and know them as people out on and off the competition floor. But Carl, is Kill Fat Pat going to do a 10K? Hell no.
Yeah, eventually.
No. So but Sarah, looking forward to it. Mal never does interviews. Yeah, last we saw doing my research, she did one with Talking Elite Fitness back in 2022. She did do one with a live interview with Sean after the Open announcement last year, where we got to see that in Omaha. So yeah, looking forward to it. So no pressure. I mean, there's no pressure. It's just conversation. So, but that's for tomorrow.
Yes.
Why are we here today, Brian?
Well, I mean, I think a lot of people who watch these shows will know that I have spent a lot of time on the road the past 6-7 months, traveling to a bunch of competitions around the world and providing some version of coverage of those. Patrick's actually crunched the numbers on this, which is kind of crazy. But have done a lot of broadcasting and live streaming this off season, and the main kind of reason to do that is to increase awareness of athletes that aren't finishing in the top 10 at the CrossFit Games year after year, which obviously those athletes earn the recognition, attention, sponsorships, et cetera, that they get. But just like in any sport, we believe that there are levels to this thing, and that the lower tiers of athletes year after year, season by season, help to support the overall ecosystem, and kind of going in the other direction, that the competition scene globally actually also is a very critical driver towards affiliates. We think those things work symbiotically. And so what we were able to do 2023, 2024 was kind of like making it up on the fly because I wasn't planning on being available to travel so much. I had never done a tour that extensive, not even close. And a lot of competitions with relatively short notice took a chance on us, made those things possible. And in other cases, we made them possible when the competitions maybe couldn't really afford to bring us out there, but we just wanted to find ways to make it happen. And as we've been doing this, a lot of those competitions have wanted to work with us again. And a lot of new competitions have been reaching out as well, or we've been reaching out to them to kind of even ramp up more the coverage that we can do. And it's not just the quantity of events, but hopefully the quality as well. We've invested in some equipment and some technology that I think will increase the quality for the audience who's consuming these competitions, especially the ones that in the past season were just streamed on my phone to Instagram Live. We have a new and improved way to do that with still very little equipment and personnel, but to stream it this time to B.Friendly Fitness YouTube channel, which should be a much more, I think, just a much more engaging platform for people to be able to watch.
Yeah, I mean, what Brian was saying is like updating some technology. I mean, Brian upgraded to I think a Razer flip phone, so that's what it shoots in beautiful 1080p, so we'll be great for that. No, but no, Brian's correct about that. So the goal is to kind of obviously make B.Friendly. When there's a competition, is have a show almost daily leading up to the competition. So Monday will basically be like a recap of the previous
Well,
weekend.
let me put it
Go ahead.
this way. There are certain elements of competitions that I think people want to know, and we addressed this last week in kind of the best lessons learned from 6 months on the road. And some of the things that people, anytime they're getting ready to watch a sporting event, will want is to know what is the event, where is it going to be, when's it going to be, what are they doing, and who's doing it. And so if we kind of break those down into CrossFit terms, there's different ways to preview the competition. And so we will look at the athletes who are competing, at the workouts that are known at the, in the run up to the competition, the history of the competition, and kind of contextualize all those things. And we, depending on my travel schedule and the amount of details we have from the competition, the caliber of the entire field of athletes, we may have 1, 2, or 3 shows in the week preceding competition coverage that will address those things. I'm hopeful to maybe bring in some other experts in various areas at times to help facilitate that conversation. But either way, to kind of just set everyone up for what is happening this week, wherever we end up being in the world, who's going to be there, what are they doing, what can you expect to see, and then obviously cover the competition and have some kind of a review after the fact. Okay, this is kind of what we thought, what ended up happening, why, what did we notice, what did we learn, that type of thing. And that's basically like a cookie cutter of a week, and then rinse repeat for the next competition or competitions. There may be some weeks where we have multiple competitions we're covering, and do that for, 30 to 35 competition weeks over the course of the next 12 months.
Yeah. So this brings us to this graphic that me and Brian were talking before. Looking at it, it's kind of overwhelming, but and the thing is, these are just what's
For
known.
who? You're not traveling to all those places.
No, you're right. You're right. I wish I was. Some of them, maybe not. I mean, I don't think I'll be allowed in Siberia or Belgrade, but or if I did go there, I probably wouldn't return. But that just shows you where we're trying to increase, and we're trying to hit up more spots. And so I wrote an article. Yes, I did write an article. In 2024-25, B.Friendly Fitness World Tour dates and competitions announced. So basically a basic press release. I'm not going to read it to you. Obviously, you can go to YouTube or .com, befriendlyfitness.com, to read the full article. But starting next week with Sand Clash in Saudi Arabia. It's going to kick off a 12-month, 33-city tour that will have B.Friendly Fitness team providing fitness competition and CrossFit community coverage across 13 countries and 11 U.S. states. And again, this is just what's scheduled. So I foresee that city tour and the countries and states, I foresee that being more and more because, like you said earlier, there are some competitions that are happening at the same time as something that we're previously committed to, and we might be providing double coverage depending on availability of certain people and experts. So
yeah, and there are some competitions that haven't announced their dates yet, or that we have kind of had preliminary talks with about potentially working with that. Just they're a little bit further into the season where the details are just less known in general. But this is a rough overview of what the whole 12 months will look like. And then, obviously the ones that are coming up in our first grouping of competitions here, pre-semifinals, with a little bit more clarity.
Yeah. So I kind of broke this up into like a concert tour. I mean, let's use Taylor Swift, for example. I know, miles well. She did her US tour. That's her first leg of her tour. And now she's on this, obviously she went to Japan and flew back for the Super Bowl. That she's now on her Asia leg, which also includes Australia and so on. So that's how a lot of tours, when it comes to music, how they break up. They do like a US tour, an Asia tour, and then maybe a European tour. So I kind of broke it up in 3 legs. So how we broke up these legs of the tour in the 3 different stages of the CrossFit Games seasons. So we have pre-semifinals, that's one, semifinals and games, so that's kind of in season, and then post games, which is off season. So yeah, so we'll start with and again, I want to say the tour dates and there will be additional dates and competitions you'll see added to this. So let's start with the pre-semifinals. Yeah, starting off next week with Sand Clash.
Just one other thing before we get into this, specific competitions there. Part of the reason that I want to do this and kind of put these competitions in an organized place where people can see them is because it's just kind of human nature that people like to plan their trips, whether they're for work, business, pleasure, competition, or otherwise, well in advance. And more or less what we're communicating by saying that these competitions are on our schedule for this year is that in one way or another, you'll be able to watch 99% of these. I think Rocky Mountain Classic is actually the only one that we're not going to provide any physical coverage of. We'll talk about that competition in a second. But other than that, I think that, and obviously if it's a CrossFit Games in-season event, there's going to be coverage of it. The big events have their own ways of broadcasting it. So that's not a surprising thing to be able to watch those. But for these smaller competitions that maybe have never had a professional broadcast or very minimal, these are competitions that you can go to and that people who want to watch you compete will be able to watch from afar. And especially if you're thinking about Europe or in the States and traveling maybe to some different places that you haven't gone before, this is basically an announcement for you to say, this is one you could travel to. You don't have to bring your whole family and box with you to watch you. They can watch from your home country, state, different part of the world if you go to these. And I think that is a very important thing for athletes to know, because it is cool. If you're good enough to make to these competitions and you get the chance also to dovetail a life experience of traveling to a new country, new continent, different part of your country, whatever, to compete, and that's something that a lot of athletes are grateful for the opportunity to do. The drawback is, well, then my friends and family aren't going to be able to make that trip and they can't watch. And historically in our sport, there's very few competitions that are broadcast worldwide. And there's very few athletes that can qualify for those competitions. So this hopefully will give athletes now a chance to look forward and say, okay, here's some competitions in Europe. If maybe I want to go and compete there, or the Middle East or North America, that I could potentially go to and have the chance for my friends and family to still watch some version of that from home. In addition to that, we work with these competitions. So we know the competition organizers. We oftentimes know the programmers, the people who interact with the athletes there. And, most of them have an understanding that if B.Friendly Fitness is coming there to cover your competition, that there's a certain amount of accountability that comes with that, because now people are going to be watching this thing. They're going to be, there's going to be shows promoting it, Instagram posts promoting it, and coverage of the actual competition. So you're programming, floor layouts, attention to detail, all those things. You feel a little bit more responsibility and pressure to do them, not just well, but exceptional. And hopefully this will create a kind of another goal that we and many people have in the sport, is just a higher level of competition. It's like eliminating a lot of the little pitfalls that sometimes take away from what's really going on there, which is incredible feats of fitness through the programming and the design that these competitions have created for the athletes that show up to take their tests.
So we kick off with pre-semifinals. Again, these are in-season competitions that also include coverage of the quarterfinal stages at the yet-to-be-announced training camps. So we're not going to get too much into details about these any of these competitions, because we'll be doing that at the week of that competition, going a little bit more detail. But we'll hit on a few of them. But we start off with Sand Clash. It's a new one, not new to us, but it's a new one for you to attend. You've never attended this, but this is something that jumped on our radar last year. But what a way to start off is in Saudi Arabia. So
yeah, this is cool. I mean, obviously Patrick and I have been to the Middle East for CrossFit competitions as far as Dubai fitness championship goes. And when we go there, we often speak with athletes, and there is a big group of international athletes who live in the Middle East, mostly in the UAE, but also now in Qatar, and maybe in some other countries soon as well, that are given opportunities to come there, live there, coach there. And because of that, they have this kind of competition circuit that's developed that gives the best athletes in the Middle East a chance to compete against an international field of athletes in Saudi Arabia, Qatar, UAE, etc. And maybe a half dozen times throughout the year. We have the Grove Games, UAE Sports Games, the Phoenix Phoenix Games.
Phoenix Games, yep.
Yeah, Sand Clash, Dubai, etc. So they're kind of, and you'll see when we do this coverage, there's over 60 countries that are having at least one athlete competing that weekend in Riyadh, Saudi Arabia. But there's maybe 10 athletes in the men's side and maybe 8 on the women's side that we actually have like past competition data on. So it's kind of like I want to say it's thin at the top. There's some good athletes there, but it's not going to be this massive breadth of 50 people in a field that you've heard of. But these are the up and coming athletes in a region of the world that has a very strong competition community that get a chance to interact with international athletes. I think this is critical. I think this is something that we need more of, and a lot of competitions are seeking after in the Middle East, because of that opportunity for athletes to travel, live, work, and then also compete there. It happens a little bit more easily and more regularly, but I'm hoping that kind of spreads to some of these other competitions as well. But I've never been to Saudi Arabia. Be flying there next Monday, and it's going to be the first kind of stop on this season's tour, and the first time that we're going to use that alternative method of streaming and pushing it to YouTube rather than Instagram Live.
Yeah, and you do want to tune into that, and we'll preview that next week with our preview show. There's some well-known athletes there that otherwise you probably won't see any coverage on, besides especially video live coverage. So we'll preview that, but there's some well-known names, CrossFit Games veterans, CrossFit Games, potential rising stars. And yeah, but I mean, starting right off the bat, a long leg trip. So we're talking it's probably a 17-hour flight or 15 hours, but you're going to get some miles there.
3 flights. Go from Charlotte to Philadelphia, Philadelphia to Doha, and Doha to Riyadh.
Yeah, there you go. Get some miles in. So I'm already keeping track instead of waiting until the end of the season where I have to figure out all your miles and stuff. I'm going to do it real time this year. And then, you're going to stay there in basically the Middle East and Asia. And then from there, go to Istanbul, Turkey, which, you spent some time in the airport there.
Yeah, I mean, if you most people, if you're not from Turkey and you're going there, you're probably going to go to Istanbul. When Patrick and I went there, I went through Istanbul to get to Izmir, and we had an amazing experience down there. But I'll get there a few days early. I'll have a chance to actually experience that city a little bit, and then heading just outside the city to the Eurasian Throwdown Finals. Josie Astula will be there, MC from Spain, who travels the world doing kite surfing and CrossFit. Commentary for kite surfing, CrossFit MC. So it'll be cool to meet up with him again. And once again, this is a competition with over 60 countries competing in it. And these competitions, we will stream the elite divisions, but these are, big time community events with, pushing 1,000 athletes at each of these. And obviously a huge representation of international, 60 countries at one competition is substantial. To go to back-to-back competitions and have over 60 countries at both, like that is pretty cool. That is the type of thing that I want people to be aware of, that's happening in the Middle East. That's happening in Turkey. There, that kind of is this, historic city that bridges Asia and Europe. And so it'll be, I think, a great opportunity for those athletes to get an opportunity to have their workouts and competitions streamed, but also for people, especially from North America, who usually would not be able to see this stuff, to get a little bit of an insight into what the competition scene looks like at some of these big competitions in terms of representation that don't usually get this kind of coverage.
Kind of answered this ironically fit. The week of, we'll do a preview show, and then we'll have an article talking about what athletes will be competing at each of these competitions. So,
that's actually been super nice so far, both for Eurasia and Sand Clash, and I really expect this to be mostly true for every competition we work with, that they're able to give us information ahead of time that makes it our job preparing for them very easy, so that we can get the information that you would want to know to you in the reasonable time. For every one of these competitions, we will have shows in the run up to that address all those critical questions that you would have: who, what, where, when, why, how do I watch it? But at the same time, like, we have those things now and we've prepared for them, but showing you the rosters for all these competitions at one time is kind of like, you'll forget who they are.
Yeah. And we'll scan over this, but you get to come home and do the last open workout, looks like.
I think so. It says
for a couple weeks.
I was joking with Taylor Self the other day, because he's doing this Taylor Self versus the world thing, but he's really just competing against 3 of his buddies from a small part of one country in the world. And I'm like, well, I think I'm kind of doing a Brian Friend does the open around the world. I have already arranged to do the open workout number 1 in Saudi Arabia and workout number 2 in Istanbul. But I do think for week 3 of the open, I'll be back here. And I think Colton Mertens is traveling down for that one against Taylor. So maybe I'll be there to watch them do that, which will be fun. And then, I should be doing the 3rd week of the open at CrossFit Charlotte.
Yeah. Speaking of now, so don't want to talk about this too much, but this whole Reps Ahead Pro Showcase, really excited about this, because this is an in-season competition, but it's a head-to-head matchup, very similar to what we've seen in the past with what Wad Zombie did with what was that called?
Fit Wars.
Fit Wars, yes. So
similar but different.
Yep. So that will you've probably seen it on our Instagram page. It's a head-to-head matchup between Dallin Pepper and James Sprague, and we've already secured them. Oh, go ahead, Brian.
Yeah. But Patrick was going to say we got him. We'll have him on a podcast prior to that to talk about whatever. And those guys are obviously super fun. But it's not just a one-off workout with just those 2 guys. There's like the way that the guys from Reps Ahead have designed this thing is like a UFC night, so that there's an undercard, series of kind of building in caliber competitors or matchups leading to a featured matchup, which is obviously James and Dallin. They've also announced Malachi Bennett and Riley Humrighouse, who had a pretty good showing in the RX division of Wadapalooza this past year, as the kind of undercard to Sprague and Pepper. But we'll be in Jacksonville, Florida. They will broadcast this on their own channels. I'll be doing the commentary for it, and I think it's really unique in a couple ways that we'll dive into when that time comes around. But just as a high level, one workout is very manageable, obviously, for the athletes to do and recover from, and then It won't interrupt their training too much.
No.
One-on-one, you have a totally different kind of scenario than you'd ever, have before. We've seen some elements of this in the open, obviously, with the head-to-head matchups. And like you said, it Fit Wars, but then the MMA style where it's a 2-minute on, 1 minute off AMRAP, and you're not seeking to have the better time. You're seeking to get ahead of your opponent by a specific number of reps, which is, it's just from a mindset thing. It's a little bit different than how you would approach something else. James Sprague is actually a veteran of this format. He did one against Tyler Eggeman last fall. If you haven't watched it yet, it's probably worth a watch. It's it's a very up and back kind of a battle, and you can see how it plays out round by round, much like a MMA or a boxing fight would. Or winning the first round doesn't necessarily guarantee you that you win the match. And as we know in CrossFit, that winning the first round does not guarantee you to win the workout either. So anyway, reps ahead. I think they'll pop up on our schedule at least twice this year, and first one will be at the end of March down in Florida.
Ironically, Fit, we'll answer that question here at the end. So just want to keep this flowing. But yeah, good question. We'll talk about that at the end of the show. Yeah, and then we go right into the quarterfinals. So we got individual and team quarterfinals. We have TBD there. We are working on possibly doing some coverage at a camp. We haven't determined which camp. We're in talks with a few camps regarding just doing some coverage there while they're doing the quarterfinals. So, just bear with us on that. We're working on some things, and yeah, it's what we have planned. It's some exciting stuff. So, once we have that,
and that's just the reality for this year is this quarterfinal stage of the season is very high pressure. The qualifying spots have been reduced in the major regions of competitive regions is what they're, I think, still officially called. And therefore, there's a lot less athletes that feel comfortable making it. And there's this kind of increased awareness about everything that goes into doing an online qualifier workout. The preparation, the way, to make sure you're displaying everything, staying in the frame, all the camera angles, multiple cameras so that in case one goes down, all this different stuff. And it can be, I think, a cool opportunity to see how some of the best in the world prepare for these types of things without obviously giving away their times and performances, et cetera. And then, for us, it's also really nice to be able to be there with the athletes and just get to know them a little bit outside of the rope, so to speak. And hopefully always just to help to refine our understanding of who they are and what their kind of purpose is in the sport and outside of just obviously trying to win.
Yeah, I've already talking to a bunch of the coaches in these camps. Quarterfinals, that's when a lot of these camps are going to bring in a lot of their athletes. So what you almost have is almost like a mini, which is cool because you have a mini kind of games atmosphere. And we've already kind of seen that in the past, and talking to they'll bring in judges for it and stuff like that. And, it's pretty cool. So we're looking forward to that. And yeah, we'll make those announcements soon.
Yeah. Hopefully. And if you didn't catch the episode we did with AFJ, the Association of Fitness Judges, a few months ago, they have an opportunity for camps to reach out to them and for them to send some judges from their organization to your location to help with the judging process and hopefully mitigate the chance of getting penalties that would prevent you from moving on in the season, basically. So I'm sure that they would be still open-minded to hearing from people who may have interest in that.
Yeah. And then kind of wrapping up the month, we have the Rocky Mountain Classic, which Brian alluded to. We won't be there in person, but we will be providing some coverage with our good friends there from Utah. Those are ran by the organizers who do the Iron Games. So we obviously want to support them because they've supported us in the past and they continue to support us. So
Rocky Mountain Classic. So the guys who run the Iron Games have taken this under their kind of umbrella. If you didn't listen earlier this week, we had Roger Gilros on from Scandinavia, Norway, and Sweden. His business is running competitions in that part of the world. It's a great listen if you run competitions anywhere. He kind of gives insight into lessons that he's learned doing this frequently, 6-7 times a year for 5-6 years in a row now, about how to make running competitions profitable. These guys with that run the Irons Game Laws and Brigham have also kind of reshaped their life to make competitions one of the focal point of what they're doing from a professional standpoint. And Rocky Mountain Classic has been integrated into their competition season. This year, it's just there are elite, RX, and intermediate same-sex teams of 2. If you head to their Instagram, there's some good information there. But a cool thing that they're doing is that all the podium athletes in all divisions will get a portion of the prize purse. 10% of each athlete or team, I guess, registration goes towards that prize purse. And so that's kind of a unique opportunity in April. If you get on the podium, any division, you can be going home with some cash. I think that it's, I guess, I don't know with the FitCon, I don't know much about FitCon Utah, but it's in association with that. So kind of a cool one. I was talking to Laws the other day, and we decided to throw this one up here so that people are aware of it, if that's something that would be interesting to them.
I failed to mention, if you click on this, and I know you can't tell, I'm trying to figure out this right now, but if you click on the actual name of the competition, it'll hyperlink or take you right to their Instagram event page. So something to note. So if you want further information about it, click on there. And I did that for all these competitions. So that took a while as well. So, and then
do you see Team Invictus made their announcement an hour ago?
Did they? Wow, good for them. Yeah, that's something to talk about then. Mm-hmm. Yeah. So no surprise there. So that's good. I'm glad they made an announcement.
Not to you, but Chandler Smith, Josh Alchama, Devin Kim, and Lauren Fisher.
Yeah, what a team. Yeah, that's
strong team.
I'm really excited.
2 of them coming back from the defending championship team at the games. Obviously, Lauren Fisher has a plethora of experience individually and on teams, and Chandler Smith running it team this year, and certainly can't be upset about having him on your team. Jorge was great, but Chandler has some team experience at Wodapalooza over the years, and I think will integrate into the team format very nicely. That's a very competitive team.
Yeah. Yeah, I'm looking forward to that. This should be teams are going to be fun this year, and it'll be cool to kind of see that team going up against Noah's team and some of these other.
They won't have any fun competing against each other.
No, I mean Noah will. I don't think Chandler will.
Oh, come on, dude. They'll have fun.
There'll be some playful banter, but at the same time,
3, 2, 1, go. You're the enemy.
Yeah, especially if you've seen Chandler and Tola. Tola's kind of the same way, so but it should be fun. I'm really excited for someone like Devin, who's obviously she's 21 years old. She's the youngest member of that team, and she's going to be on a team with one of her idols, and Lauren Fisher. And this is exciting for Lauren too, because Lauren coming back to Invictus to do this, and yeah, she's 30 years old. We don't know how much longer she's going to be competing. I know she wants to start a family at some point, so
in case people, she's been competing for over a decade already.
Yeah,
so it's not like 30 years old is not. You can compete competitively. Sam Briggs showed it to us. You can compete well into your 30s, 38, 39 as a woman for sure. But 2 decades of competing at that level is different. Sam obviously started at a older age because she found CrossFit at that point in her life. So not everyone's 30 is the same 30.
Yeah, exactly. So yeah, what's up, Kiefer? How you doing?
Anyway, last one on this part of the season is a Crash Crescendo. Crash Crescendo is the team version that JR Howe runs in Spartanburg, South Carolina. 2 years ago, I competed at it in the intermediate division. I'm very proud of my effort, but I definitely got my ass kicked. And last year, it was the first competition that I actually experimented with the live stream from my phone on Instagram Live and no other equipment. It went pretty well. There were, I think, 9 or 10 teams in the elite co-ed division there, half of which were semifinal teams. Both Move Fast Lift Heavy teams were there. The Grit House had 2 teams down there. Enape from Indiana. There was a good team from Crash themselves, or actually 2 or 3 teams from Crash themselves. I think, JR has strategically positioned this competition. If you see there, it's 3 weeks after the quarterfinals. It's 4 and 5 weeks, I think, respectively, before the North America West and East semifinals. and therefore is a great opportunity for teams who qualify to semifinals. Obviously, if you're in the Southeast, it's easier to get there than anywhere else. But like I said, those move fast, lift heavy teams came down from the Northeast,
Mhm.
and certainly teams from the Midwest or even the West Coast if they wanted to. I don't know.
Yep.
They have to go first. Could come over there. But I expect there'll be East Coast teams, semifinal teams that are understanding at this point that this competition is a great primer 4 and 5 weeks out of semifinals. From speaking with Christian Harris last year, I mean, he was very clear. He said, wow, dude, this was amazing. Like, we did this competition and we walked away with very clear objectives of things that we wanted to improve on before the one that mattered, semifinal, which is I think the most competitive team semifinal in the world. Europe's up there. So if you're a team that qualifies for semifinals, and you can get to South Carolina at the end of April, it's a great opportunity to kind of get a simulated competition weekend with a high level of programming and diversity of workouts. He's got the worms there. They've got no shortage of equipment. And you'll get a good dry run and good understanding of where you guys are at compared to where you want to be for 4 and 5 weeks down the road.
Yeah. And like you mentioned, we should probably bring maybe Christian on before the Crash Crucible to kind of talk about the team experience or at some point. But he parlayed that into a very successful semifinal, and he gave a lot of credit to Crash Crucible because they are you can be with your team in the gym, competing against yourself for so long, but it doesn't really matter until you go out there and compete, on a live competition floor, and just getting to feel that pressure and just all that stuff. And I know he said they took a lot of valuable lessons from that. And I think that's what JR hopes that this does. And hopefully we do see some teams like that. I mean, I would love to. I mean, it's not that far from Miami. Maybe Noah's team makes a trip up there. Who knows? Or maybe the Mayhem teams. They got quite a few Mayhem teams. We'd love to see.
Sure.
I think that'd be a great opportunity for Angelo to try out with that new team. He's got, one new member on that team, but it'd be kind of cool. But yeah, so we end basically the pre-semifinals 2 months with Crash Crucible, and then that takes us
Crash
right
Crescendo. Actually, there's a good in conversations with Athens Throwdown as well.
Yes,
which is the week before semifinals in Europe. It's a long running competition in Greece, and so could potentially also be there prior to semifinals. But
yeah.
Like I said, this as Patrick said, the season can grow. If you're, wanting to be a part of this, reach out to us. There's no conflicts in terms of scheduling on this part of the season. In the future, there are some, but we have some ideas and workarounds to work with competitions that would want to do that, even if we already are doing something that weekend. So feel free to reach out if you run a competition and are interested in being involved in this. It might not be for everyone, but even just having the conversation we're happy to do it.
Yeah, definitely. Conversations are free. Semifinals game. So these puts us right in the heart of the 2024 CrossFit Games season. Includes live on-site coverage at 3 of the semifinals: Europe, North America East, and North America West semifinals. So the crux of this leg of it is basically the semifinals. But then after semifinals, there's some competitions that we will be attending, and the purpose of most of these competitions after the semifinals is basically to parlay those who don't move on to the games, continue their season, to kind of give them an ending to their season. So there's some pretty good, well-known competitions that we'll be covering. And of course, it concludes with us making our first trip to Dickies Arena in Fort Worth, Texas for the CrossFit Games. So, so right now there's 3 weeks to the semifinals. And we're earmarked for coverage for 3 of them, but that might expand. Who knows? I might make a trip out to Korea. You never know. That's that first weekend. In comparison to French Throwdown. So if I do make it out to Korea, maybe we add a 4th, and who knows? But right now, semifinals we're going to cover: French Throwdown in Lyon, France, the West Coast Classic in Carson, California. That's the North America West semifinal. And then we're going to end the semifinal season in Knoxville, returning back to Knoxville, Tennessee for Syndicate Crown and North America East semifinal. So Syndicate Crown will be new for both of us, because I believe when they held it 2 years ago, we were both in Amsterdam, right?
Lowlands Throwdown. Yeah,
Lowlands Throwdown. So we're excited about that.
I just want to reiterate, I don't think this will be a problem in Europe, but in North America, they haven't the fans haven't always shown up the same way that they have internationally for the semifinals. These two semifinals are going to be the most dense in terms of high level competitor semifinal that has ever been hosted in North America.
Mm-hmm.
Meaning that of the 40 men and women that make it there, the quarterfinals programming is at a premium in terms of pressure to qualify those. But regardless, you're going to get a minimum of 30 and probably close to the full field of athletes that are, I don't want to say all candidates to make the CrossFit Games, but that are all candidates to have multiple top 10 finishes over the course of the weekend, meaning that there can be high level performances coming out of the first heat on every single one of the events that happens those weekends. The margins of victory are going to be small. The points gaps are going to be tight. The execution is going to be at a premium, and it would be amazing, especially that venue in Knoxville, to pack that place out. If that place is full of spectators, that environment is going to be incredible.
Yeah, we talked about that in the past, about how that convention center, that arena is just, it's crazy. If it's packed, you're literally going to be on top of the athletes, because it's it's going to be, the floor is lowered and the stands are up. So I mean, I think they used that for hockey most of the time, but it'll be fun. It'll be fun, and I can only imagine if that semifinal is anything like what we had at semifinals last year, where when we had it in Pasadena and when we had it in Orlando, those are well attended, and it got so loud there. So Syndicate Crown,
it's just like those convention centers. I don't think they're the best venues for that. This is an arena. This is going to be, if we pack that out, man, it's going to be phenomenal.
Yeah, and then come on, return to Carson. I mean, that I'm excited about that once, because that was always a bucket list item for me, because you've been to Carson. I've never been to Carson, so it's going to be kind of cool. Whether it's going to happen in a tennis stadium or all that, I don't care. Just the idea of the games or the CrossFit season returning to Carson. Yeah, I'm excited about that.
And then June's going to be kind of a slow month, maybe the slowest month of the year for us in terms of competitions. We got plenty of other things kind of planned to talk about during that time. So still be, of course, content coming out. But end of June, as Patrick was talking about, like concerts that, or, artists that make these European, Asian, South America trips, whatever. This is going to be a stretch where I'm just basically going to head to Europe for a month plus. So Madrid Fitness Festival, in Spain, Norwegian Throwdown, will head up obviously to Norway. The Monster Games in Joplin, Missouri, I will not fly back to the States for just this 1 week, but PC will be there, and we'll have we will have coverage of this competition as well for you to be able to watch. I had a meeting with them this week. Wild on the Lock in Scotland they were the first competition of any of these to announce a partnership with me. I've been talking to Kyle Russell, the programmer there, for years. Very, very astute programming mind. I think, from everything that I've seen and the conversations I've had with him, on par with J.R. Halls of the world in terms of the way that he thinks about and creates unique competition environments for his demographic or group of athletes that come and compete there. And then a recent addition to this list is the West Siberian Championship. I have had a few. There's several places actually around the world that I know that there's these really strong communities in terms of CrossFit or fitness competitions that are happening, and there's almost no way for the Western world to consume them. And the two that stand out by far are in Russia and in China. I have actually spoken with Max Na as well about the potential of doing something in China. I don't know if it'll be this year or next year, but I think it would be really cool to be able to give a look into what those places are like when it comes to CrossFit and the community of people who come to do competitions there. It's going to be a learning experience for me, because the process of getting to Russia for the U.S. passport is different than most other parts of the world. But we've already started that process, and hopefully we'll be there in the end of July. They have also arranged for international athletes who are interested in competing in that competition to apply for a wild card. So they would not, if you're in Russia, you need to do the qualifiers, which have not happened yet. If you're outside of Russia, there's an opportunity to get a wild card to compete at this competition. And like I said, if we'll be there, there'll be a streaming coverage of it. And I'm hopeful that there's some athletes out there that might hear that, see that, and take them up on that offer and reach out to them about what that would potentially look like.
Yeah. So this European leg or this post semifinals, like I alluded to at the beginning, it gives some athletes who didn't make make it move on from semifinals to games and ended their season. Kiefer was on in the comments. We were able to see that firsthand at the first 4 Monster Games last year, where you had a bunch of semifinalists competing there. But it also gives an opportunity for athletes that have made the games to make some money to travel to the games. That was famously done last couple of years. Uldis and Freyova, they come to mind. They did
Yorgos Kervis, Elena
yeah,
Karatala.
yeah. So just because some of these competitions will probably have games athletes in them, I don't doubt that at all. And why not? I mean, especially if it tunes them up, it gives them something to work on. It gives them another data point to consider, or more stuff to work, more practice prior to going to the games. So, yeah, so we're looking forward to all of that. And I'm looking forward to see what Brian's travel is. Shout out to our friend Natalia, someone that I met last year at Dubai, but she was someone we got to meet this year and got to talk to. And one of the first things, she loved what we're doing. She's really heavily involved with the Kolesnikov team, and she was the one that kind of, yeah, she used to be on it. So she's yeah, she judges. She's a judge. But yeah, shout out to her to kind of, trying to bring B.Friendly, making us more worldwide, and truly making this a world tour. And like Brian said, there are some competitions, some areas where we would like to get to, and Russia was one. Another one is, as he said, China. I would like to see Korea on there if I don't make it to Korea. And then also you'll see some, we haven't made it out to Oceania or South America yet. So, and like I said before, and we'll talk about this, if you have a competition and if you're listening to this and you would like us, reach out to Brian, reach out to me, reach out to, slide into our DMs at B.Friendly Fitness. Let us know. And we, like, the conversations are free. We'd love to have that opportunity to talk and see how we can help you promote your competition. So that hopefully Brian gets back from Russia in time to attend the games. And then that concludes this the You Still Siberian Throwdown. I want to go. Is that something you're with?
West Siberian Championship is the one in Russia that I'll be making an attempt to get to this year.
Yes, and that segues right into post game. So this is basically the meat of the tour, the final leg of the tour. Now it's still, because it's several months away, it's 6 months away. This is what we have so far in terms of dates. And then if further down the list, you'll see a lot of TBD. So we're just waiting for official dates, or we haven't been approved yet to announce those dates. So obviously these competitions, they should have the right to announce their dates. But we get a couple weeks off, and just like last year,
hit the ground running.
Back on the road. So I count here, it's like 8 right now, 8 straight weeks we're on the road, specifically you. Mm-hmm. And that starts with the brand new. It is new, right? The Canada Throwdown.
Mm-hmm. This will be their first year. We met with the competition director in Wadapalooza. Had spoken to him once previously. Have spoken to them since. Locked in for that one. We will spend less time on each of these. Obviously, as we get to them, we'll spend a lot of time with each one of them. But we'll head to Canada for Canada Throwdown,
and then where it all started.
Yes.
Yep.
Turun Tuomiopäivä in Turku, Finland. I'm heading back there. Super excited about that. Hanu is one of my closest friends, and their team puts on a great competition. There will be a stream for that, as there was last year. And then while we're in Europe, we're gonna make our way down to Serbia for the Belgrade Games. That'll be a new one. Well, this is their second year running. I believe that Lis Lazar Jukic will be involved in some way with this, helping to support that in his home country there. And have like some contacts there through actually the judging community around the world that have made that possible. But great, it seems like they're very serious about the caliber of that competition. It's probably unknown and relatively new, but if you're an athlete in Europe who's looking for, a place to compete, both of these competitions, Finland and Serbia, will have a stream. We'll have a high quality event in terms of the preparation organization. So it could be a good opportunity for European athletes in the early part of the fall. Then we'll come back to the States and we'll stay there for a while. Lake Norman Fit Fest is a new one on our calendar this year. It's in North Carolina. We'll head out to California for a tier SoCal Wadapalooza Masters Fitness Championships, which will be the third year I've gone to. Although this year I'm going to actually go for the entire thing. I missed the first day each of the last 2 years for different reasons. Iron Games have moved locations and dates. They'll be in Salt Lake City this year. I don't know if they've been at this time in the past, but they were in the end of August last year. They've kind of moved a little later in the season. I think this is a positive move on both fronts. There'll be the same streaming service with Kairos and the Functional Vision team it had last year. I'll be on the broadcast for that one. And then Crash Crucible, of course, down in South Carolina. At this point, I believe that the plan is to run it back with me and Sevan. So we'll see where that's at in October. And then the rest of the dates are by month, not by date, taking us all the way through February of 2025 already. And I think Fittest to the Coast actually did announce their competition dates, which is the second weekend of February. But that's as far out as we've planned so far, almost 12 months in advance.
Yeah. It's crazy. It's crazy. Yeah. So what's not on there, but it kind of is maybe, I don't know if you can talk on this or if you're allowed to talk, is the Madrid CrossFit Championship. Can you talk about that at all or what's going on? Because
you mean the Madrid Fittest Cup?
Yes. As well as the competition, the Madrid Fitness Festival. So,
yeah. I'm not sure if all the details exactly, but my understanding is basically that the one in the end of June is a massive community event. Okay. 2,000 to 3,000 athletes probably total competing there. There's already a bunch of information out on their Instagram about this one, but at the highest level, it's a team competition that will serve as a qualifier for the November finals, basically. That I think the top 8 teams from June is the number that I'm recalling will qualify there. There will be some qualifiers to that final event from other competitions, some of which are on this schedule, where the winner of that competition will get an invite to go to the finals. And then there's also, I think, some wildcard spots available, which and that Madrid Fittest Cup there in November will be this kind of finals that I'm referring to. And it has, quite frankly, if things go the way that it appears that they could, the potential to be the second biggest prize purse or earning potential for teams on the entire calendar year after the games, and potentially also the best team field that we'll see outside of the games the entire season.
Wow. All right. So start scheduling for that. But yeah, you brought up we don't have dates or locations for some of these, but obviously Rogue Invitational.
Other than Rogue.
yeah, Rogue Invitational. We don't know yet. We're assuming it's going to be in October. And then again, you brought up Madrid Fittest Cup. That should be exciting. And then obviously,
Desert City we were at last year. Another Reps Ahead event there. Dubai Fall Series Throwdown, which we did last year. I've been in touch with them. We're going to run it back, and then of course, Wadapalooza Fittest Experience and the Fittest of the Coast were new for us this year, and we'll do them even better this year.
Yeah, I'm really excited about Dubai. Just again, I thought this past year, the level of competition, the more international we had, previous that there wasn't. I think there was one American, 2 North Americans total. Well, 3 if you count. Fikowski.
Well, it's just a lot of it depends on how they make up their field. 2 years ago was qualifier only. And this past year it was invite only. Sometimes they do a hybrid, but obviously Dubai is an incredible place to compete. Some of the best athletes in the world, Ricky Garrard, Roman Krennikov, Karen Freyova, have said that it's like the only competition that if they could choose one, it's the one they would choose to do. If you're, a young athlete, especially that's up and coming or already kind of maybe made it to the games once or twice and haven't been over there, I would try to pursue that as an opportunity. Like I said earlier, these life experiences that you can create for yourself because of the prowess that you have as a high level athlete in this sport can be very cool. We spoke with Kiefer and the Underdogs crew that went over there this year, and they said, man, that was like in our mind, we could imagine what it could be, but actually going there and doing that was a totally different experience, and one that it sounds like they want to have again and create for more of their athletes. So obviously, it depends on the qualification or invitation process, but if you get the chance to go, I really think that it would be a miss to pass up on that.
Yeah, because you don't know if that opportunity ever would come back.
Sure.
But yeah. Yeah, but like I said, there's a lot of open dates there. There's some competitions that we know are happening that we haven't heard back from, or we have what's the one in Australia?
Yeah, I mean, we've been speaking with Down Under
Down
Championship,
Under, yep.
FitFest UK. We've been reached out to German Throwdown. There are some other
Mhm.
big events happening around the world. Some of them don't have all the dates for the big South America competitions. I think a couple of them might be on the same weekends as a couple of these that I have heard about. But yeah, absolutely are still open to having more conversations with competitions that would have some interest in this.
Yeah, and that kind of gets us into we'll be providing live competition broadcasts and coverage on the B.Friendly YouTube channel at 14 of the listed competitions we have. So not all of them will have they'll have, some of them will have streams outside of the B.Friendly YouTube channel. So those are people that pay, that'll stream it on their own YouTube or own network. But for at least 14 of the competitions that we listed will be on our YouTube channel. These broadcasts will be free of charge, and we'll have Brian Friend as well as the B.Friendly Stats team providing play-by-play and exclusive athlete competition / event insights. So, and as part of the competition coverage, B.Friendly Fitness team will also provide competition programming and athlete previews as well as recap at the completion of the competition. So those will all be unique to our show, our YouTube channel, and also available on wherever you stream or download your podcast. So, and we do have partnership opportunities and various packages. So yeah, reach out to me or Brian if you're interested, if you're a potential, if you want to partner up and support this effort. So yeah, that's basically in a nutshell. Are we forget anything?
No, I think that we've hit on the main point. There we go. We've hit on the main point of this show is to just kind of put out there. These are the places we're going. These are the ways that you'll be able to watch them. Like Patrick said, a lot of them have their own broadcasts. The ones that don't, we will be providing a broadcast for them on the B.Friendly Fitness YouTube for athletes or coaches that are looking for places to maybe expand your competition horizons. Hopefully, this gives you some opportunities. Most of the competitions that we talk to, they're really happy with the turnout that they have year after year in their home country or home region. And they're hopeful to draw in some international competitors or people from different parts of the country or the world. I think that by providing a broadcast and also having this kind of working relationship with them, that you can have some amount of confidence that this is, we've seen the programming ahead of time. It gives us an opportunity to ask them questions about some of those things. When you have been to as many competitions as I've been to, you just see things and know immediately that a minor change can make a big difference for the athletes or the viewers. And so we're constantly talking to these competitions, trying to just help them refine their already very good or great programming to make just the experience better for everyone involved in consuming or participating in that, if possible. And so hopefully some people out there will take note of these competitions and maybe make an effort to get to some new one this year.
Yeah. Yeah, so that's kind of it. Like I said, more information will come out. Just again, if you want any more information, please go to befriendlyfitness.com. Click on the article. Again, all the events are hyperlinked, the dates are there. We'll be updating that throughout the season and making more announcements as the season progresses. But right now, man, yeah, we, or more specifically you have your hands full, but that's why we do this. We enjoy it. Got some, yeah. Ironically,
there was a question we were gonna,
yeah, there was a couple. Ironic, off topic, but how do you feel about open announcement taking place at someone's personal home gym? That took me by surprise. She's obviously referring to the 24.2 announcement, it happening at the Shred Shed at Justin Medeiros' home.
I mean, I think back to the time they took the open announcement to someone's garage. and did it there. And I think that the message that they're probably trying to send is that the Open is for anyone, and that you can do it anywhere. I've heard that I think either Adrian or Dave has said some of these things like like we are really considering the logistics of being able to perform these workouts this year in ways that we haven't previously. J.R. Hall has made some speculations about what that could potentially mean. So for example, one year we had overhead walking lunges for a specific distance. I actually was working out full time in my own garage that year, and we barely had enough space. Like I had to step across the line, stand up, and like right in front of me was this workbench area. And we had to kind of make makeshift work. And JR said, if they do lunges this year, I would expect them to be in place. He's not expecting rope climbs to a certain height because, and I think that by choosing a location like that to do it, that would be kind of the idea of the message that they're trying to send. That I'm not CrossFit. I'm not involved in those competitions. That's just me speculating.
Yeah. T-Bird, thank you as always. Brian PC, have you guys had any contact with Matt Lugos? I know he took some time off to deal with some personal things. I really enjoyed him. Will he be coming back to competition? I have heard some great news that he's actually been showing up at the gym. Believe at Underdogs. Maybe Kiefer can confirm that or not, but he's been showing up at Rhino, being more engagement. Those who had a chance, go to LSKD. He did a project with him talking about his struggles with mental health, and I wouldn't really call it struggles, but his battle with mental health. As a mental health advocate myself, and someone that suffers from PTSD and some mental health issues, I think what Matt did was extremely brave of him. It's not hard. It's not easy to get out of bed every day to face the world, especially when you're on a platform like he was. And I'm just glad that he's figuring things out. And I would love,
and also the important, what Tiber said here is, she really enjoyed him. He's a great personality and great person to be around. So, obviously, wishing the best, and great to hear that he's maybe making some appearances out there at the gym.
Yeah. Let's see, what was the other one? So, him being in the gym and interacting with people, that's a good sign. And Matt's a great guy. And I hope he finds some happiness, and I think he is. Couple other comments here. Renata, is Sarah coming back as well? I know she trains in Underdogs.
My understanding is Sarah Sigmund's daughter is going to be participating in the game season this year. Open, but I'm sure we'll see her somewhere on the leaderboard. Quarterfinals. She's actually really good at online qualifiers in general. I think she will make the semifinal in Europe. And there actually is a lot of opportunity in Europe on the women's side this year with a few athletes going team, but there's also a bunch of up and coming athletes. So I think it's kind of wide open. She wasn't that far off of making it to the games last year. I know there's some people that have completely written her off. I'm not one of those people. I think that she has a chance to potentially make it back to the CrossFit Games this year. Yeah.
Yeah. And thank you, Jeffrey. Some kind of breaking news here. I will bring it up. 1 second.
Breaking news. You got me in anticipation. Breaking. I don't know what it is.
I know. 24.3 matchup.
Oh, we had kind of speculated that Tia might be involved in this yesterday or 2 days ago.
Yes, we did.
And Ariel Low in there. So we were wondering if there'd be any kind of an international representation. And
technically, it's international.
Yeah, and also that there would be some probably at least one woman featured. Does that say at Proven HQ, which is I guessed 2 days ago?
It is. So,
okay. So I got Tia and Proven HQ right, and I just threw Roman in the mix as a fun thing to get some more international flair. But Ariel Lowen, obviously the fittest woman in the USA last year, and this is it's great matchup, great fun, cool location. So maybe we should go out there for a week.
That's what I'm thinking. I have to look at my schedule. I don't know that might be that's NCAA's actually. Well, I think the SEC men's basketball tournament's in Nashville that same weekend. So that's not too far of a drive for you. Ariel's one of our favorite people. Nick Johnson over at Proven HQ, he's always been great to us. So if CrossFit will allow us, maybe we might be doing some coverage from there. Again, like I said, this could be one of those, like I said, the schedule. Schedule changes.
I've been spending the morning reading more of Tia's book. It just doesn't have the jacket on, and I don't like the
Yeah.
jackets when I'm reading them. But reading her book, pretty. It's actually a pretty fun read. It's a little different style than some of the other kind of biographies in CrossFit have been. And I've been enjoying it. Gonna try to get her on the show at some point to talk about it.
Yeah.
But either way, I feel kind of happy that I got like two out of three parts of this announcement right the other day.
That's amazing. Good job. Yeah. Oh man, that picture of Ariel, she's looking mean. I
Mean, but
love it.
also like that. Like if you just isolate her
Oh,
eyes in that
yeah.
picture, like
Yeah.
for someone that's in the heat of battle of competition, it's also an like impressive. I would say that the eyes are impressively like beautiful in this picture.
Yes. Yeah. Yeah.
Which I'm curious who took that picture. Probably someone
I,
with CrossFit.
yeah, someone from CrossFit. But yeah, so that's cool. And you kind of alluded to this as well. We'll talk about this. Might as well bring it up. The official announcement here.
Yeah,
There it is.
I mean, we've been expecting this one to come out at some point, but we never kind of know until it's out there in the public. And so Invictus making the announcement this year, and they are the defending champs. Devin and Joshua were on that team last year. They've, you never want to say they've upgraded, but in terms of individual accolades or achievements in their
Mm-hmm.
career, Lauren Fisher and Chandler Smith certainly have more of those than Jorge Fernandez and Brittany Weiss. So if you want to take the crown at the CrossFit Games, obviously you got to beat everyone, but this is one team that you will certainly have to be well aware of.
Yeah, and yeah, you can't. The resume speaks for itself, and I mean, Lauren has made the podium on a team with Team Invictus back in 2019, so she's well accomplished in team, and obviously she was on that fourth place team for Reykjavik. So, kind of disappointing season. So this is cool. It'd be kind of neat. There's this thing in wrestling. I'm going to bring it back to wrestling here. There's a guy named Cody Rhodes, and he's kind of doing this thing where he needs to finish his story. I think this is a great opportunity for someone like Lauren Fisher, who, in her earlier career was kind of looked at as like the next big thing in CrossFit, and she's become such a great ambassador for CrossFit. And we don't know what the next year brings to her, but she obviously, her dealing with her mother passing away suddenly due to cancer and stuff like this, this season would be a great thing for her to kind of finish her story by going out on top as a champion, if she indeed steps away from the sport, which we don't know if she is or not. I'm not making any presumptions.
She's made a decision to go individual last year, and she had a great season. Like she came within a couple spots of qualifying out of the West, and then she made it into the Rogue Invitational and really, really represented herself well there at a very trying time in her life. And so, Lauren's had a storied career on the competition floor, also very successful businesswoman off the competition floor as a result of her fitness. This is as good of a team as she's ever been on. It's gonna be a fun one to watch.
Yeah, and I'm excited for Chandler. It's probably it's going to be intense. And I remember talking to Devin about this. Like, this is going to be good for someone like Devin, who's obviously the youngest. She has individual aspirations. And she decided the only reason why she came back to do team this year was because of this team. She's knows one of her best friends.
Plenty of opportunities to compete individually if she wants to. She's just getting started.
She is. She really is. So, I'm really excited about this announcement. So that's good on them. And there's probably gonna be some other announcements coming out in terms of teams. So, like I said, it's gonna be.
The open is starting, so we're gonna find out soon, one way or another.
That's basically.
I'll just say I did finally sign up for the open. So this will be the 11th year that I do the open.
The judges test and the judges course and the open. Look at you.
I did do the judges course. It took about an hour. It's pretty good. I got one question wrong on the first try. I will contend that their answer was wrong, not my answer. But c'est la vie, and life goes on. I haven't done the judges course for 11 years, but I've done it for many years. And it'll be on the road to do the workouts. But it's always a fun time of year, and there's really no way around it. Like you know that it's coming. I should say I know that it's coming, and so I am. In the training in the gym, I'm kind of thinking about some of the things that maybe I haven't had some touches on recently, and integrating those to the training regimen. which is part of the reason why I think competition is so valuable in people's lives. You put something on the calendar, you want to perform well at it, and so therefore you're going to make decisions in your life that will give yourself the best chance to do that.
Yeah. Another reminder tomorrow, Friendly Conversations with Mal O'Brien. So we will have her on, believe, 3:30 Eastern.
Oh yeah, she's out in Hawaii, so we got to accommodate that. Give her time to wake up and get going. Yeah. So a little bit later than usual, but obviously worth it to have a chance to have a conversation with Mal.
Yeah. So it'll be live in 26 hours. So we'll be live. So
did you take this picture?
No, I didn't. I got that from CrossFit. I can't take credit for that one. Yeah. So
it's a cool picture.
Yeah, it definitely is. I liked it. Yeah. Go to our YouTube channel, hit notify me, sign up for alerts. If you don't follow us, please follow us. It helps us out, obviously. Yeah, we look forward to that. That's happening tomorrow. So can't wait to have everyone on. So drop some questions in there. Maybe we'll have a chance to maybe give you guys an opportunity to ask Mal a question or so. So we'll check with her to make sure if that's okay. And yeah. So that's on tap for tomorrow, Hawaii time. Oh yeah, Hawaii time. Hawaii Island time is so much different. And where she's at in Kauai, it's the Garden Island. You haven't made it out to the out to Hawaii for the
not for the trail run. I've been to Hawaii several times.
Have you been to Kauai?
Maybe I've been to 4 of the islands. Maybe 5. I can't remember if I've been to Kauai and Lanai or if I've only been to one or the other. But either way, it was a while ago during my childhood at some point.
Yeah, I mean, Kauai has gotten my heart. I mean, I don't blame her for. Yeah, if I lived out in Hawaii, that's probably why you don't see that many like CrossFit athletes out of Hawaii. They're just living that island life. I mean, outside of China Cho.
Anything else for today?
No, that's it. Yeah. So relatively short show compared to what we normally do.
Yeah, but maybe long compared to some of the other shows we will do throughout the season.
Exactly. Again, shout out to Carl and HGR CBD. Use code FRIEND20 for 20% off your HGR CBD products. Make sure you use that. Again, I can't say enough about their products. It's definitely got me through Kill Fat Pat season. We start in week 3. I got my Army combat fitness test in I think 12 days. So so I'm feeling good about especially my.
Are we live streaming that on B.Friendly Fitness?
Are you coming to Chicago? God, that would be the waste of. Oh my goodness. Maybe another time. I don't know. But no, one reason why I'm doing that is because I'm in charge of 20 soldiers, and during the winter months it's hard. It's really hard to go out there and motivate yourself to do stuff like that. So I kind of want to set the standard. And plus, being involved in fitness, I didn't want to be known as someone who's involved in fitness and doesn't do fitness. So I really wanted to set the example. So I started a big old group chat, and I've been posting my workouts and just showing them like, hey, at 47 years old, I'm making this work. I'm taking 20 minutes out of my day to go on a mile run, just starting out bits and pieces because I have a 20-year-old soldier
run in 20 minutes.
Well, it was 2 miles, but I started off with a mile, but every run starts with a step. So, and I kind of showed you my thinking when it comes to Kill Fat Pads. I start off and I start ramping up as my body feels better. So, today will probably be 2 miles, maybe 2.5. We'll see as far as I can go. But as Carl said, building it to that 10K, I don't think so, man.
Dude, every run starts with a step.
Yeah, I know. Yeah,
I'm gonna clip you saying that, and then I put a montage of all your running stuff over this period of time.
Yeah.
Actually, I won't do that, but maybe Chad.
Yeah, maybe Chad.
This is a huge weekend. Do you know why? This upcoming weekend.
What? This weekend?
This upcoming weekend, yeah. It's the start of the Professional Disc Golf Tour.
Oh, okay. There you go. Yeah. We're running out of days of the week to maybe we could do a show on that. Just some big ones. Yeah. I was about to say, what is going on this week? Okay. All right.
No, it's actually been a lot harder to watch when you're on the road, obviously, but still I've kept up with it. did a little fantasy league for my brother and his friends, and just stay engaged. And yeah, starts this weekend. It always starts around the same time as the Open.
Yeah, that's right. I remember you saying that. Well, that explains why you've kind of picked up the disc a couple more times.
I've been home. I think I might go play today.
Yeah, it's almost 70 today, so I'm gonna do the 1 o'clock workout with Joel Laney. So I don't even know what the workout is, but I always hate it whenever I miss the noon class. That means I have to go to 1 o'clock.
It can't be worse than what they had at the CrossFit Charlotte yesterday. 15.5 rowing and thrusters.
Yeah, that does sound bad.
Dude, there's a guy, just like a normal guy that comes to the gym. That was the workout yesterday. He came and did it at the noon class and at the 7 p.m. class, and he beat his time by 10 seconds at 7 p.m.
What the hell? Why would he do that?
I don't know. And I mean this in like, he's like an average guy at the gym, and he just did this workout twice.
I'm interested to see what my workout is today.
I've done that workout twice in my life, and I'm good.
Yeah. This is today. I have 10 rounds, 24 double unders, 12 box jump overs, 6 deadlifts. Ooh, deadlifts at 225. Yep. That's my type of workouts. Just enough double unders.
Box jump overs?
Yeah, just box jump overs. 12.
It's not a bad workout. 10
No.
rounds, 24, 12, and 6.
Yeah.
Maybe I should do that. I haven't deadlifted heavy in a while, and it shows up in the Open a lot.
Yeah.
225 is not heavy for most people, but
but that's like the perfect amount, like 24 double unders, because I'm like, I start capping out around 30, 40. So 24, that's good. Yeah. And that won't damage me too much, that I can still run. So yeah, it'd be a nice warm up.
Jumping.
Yeah, it'd be a nice warm up. But cool. Well, yeah. Oh, hey, our buddy Marius. If you are not following this guy, you need to follow him. And also, additionally, I believe today is the finals of Beyond the Whiteboard. Hiller, Seth from Jump Ship, and Brian Spin in the finals. So make sure you tune into that. It should be interesting. I'm wondering who.
Is that at 3 Eastern?
I believe 3 or 3:30 Eastern. I don't know. Yeah, should be. Yeah, T-Bird said. Yeah, finals are around the whiteboard, and then guess what? I believe next week we start season 2 Beyond the Whiteboard. So Pedro promises bigger, and yeah, I think it'll be a lot better in season because he'll have so many more topics to talk about. So season 2 might be the one to pay attention to. Hopefully we can get you back on.
Well, I missed it. I was on the airplane.
Yeah, he said you were scared.
I heard him say that. Look, you could not have found a better replacement.
Jason, not at all.
Media was amazing, and I think he got robbed in the semifinals. I think he should have been in the finals.
Yeah, I agree with you. But yeah, he did so awesome. The way he answered that question about CrossFit, about Hiller and CrossFit, I think was a turn that none of us would have taken. But yeah, so make sure you tune in to that. That should be fun. And yeah, with all that being said, I think we'll see you all tomorrow at 3:30 Eastern, 2:30 Central. That's my time. We'll have Mal on. I believe it would be 10:30 for her. So she'll be up and probably just finishing swimming with some sharks. That's it. So thanks for tuning in. Again, we always appreciate the support of CBD, HER, CBD, and Carl and his great people there. And and all you in the chat. So enjoy the rest of your day. We'll see you tomorrow. And as always, be friendly, our friends.